My name is EdanMarshall. I work at Grant Architecture Studio with Paul Grant. We are probably best known for high-end custom homes. We've done some pretty unusual and extravagant homes around the Lower Mainland and the rest of the world as well. But we also have a pretty deep history in education and schools. Done dozens of high schools and elementary schools around the province and specifically around the Lower Mainland. I'd spent probably 6 or 8 summers after high school working in construction. Learned a lot about building, from framing to plumbing to finishing, and wanted to kind of play in that world. Wanted to be able to kind of shape space that people are going to be using day to day. But I also didn't want to be the guy covered in paint and sawdust every day. So architecture seemed like a good fit, and sort of on a whim applied and actually got in. I started with Paul before I even went to architecture school, and was basically dumped into the deep end of drawing and detailing super high-end homes. Not surprisingly, I wasn't part of the design process, but immediately dumped into detailing super complex homes, super high-end homes for clients with extremely high expectations and very, very high standards. So my introduction wasn't particularly soft. Exposure to some of these clients was very interesting. The level of expectation coming from sort of small town interior BC to suddenly being plunged into these, 10, 15, $20 million homes was very different. The kitchen is a space that most clients undervalue initially. They just think of it sort of as a pure function. In reality, it's actually a highly multifunctional space where you're gathering, you're entertaining, you're also cooking and cleaning and doing sort of all the basic home functions. But you're also spending a huge proportion of your time in the home, in the kitchen. So having not only a level of durability and functionality built into it, but a level of sort of tactile interactivity and beauty built into it is extremely important. We talk a lot about light and finishes. What levels of glare are we dealing with? How do we avoid, simple things like how do you avoid glare, but illuminate the space so that it is a functional workspace? How do you have different styles of light built into it so that you can change the use pattern of that space just with light? First impressions of Leicht, ironically, fairly sexy, which is a funny thing to attach to a German brand at times. But it's very clean, it's very streamlined. The build quality is extremely high. Little things like the hinges, you don't have options for the quality of hinges. It's simply high or nothing. The cost goes up or down based on how you finish it, which makes sense. But yeah, generally the level of precision in assembly is very, very good, deeply impressive. And yeah, the operation of everything's super smooth. Little things like the motors that drive the automated doors up and down are guaranteed for a very long time, which, this is, again, something that clientele playing in this realm look for. They want something that's going to perform flawlessly for a very long period of time. I think one of the things that we're sort of forced to adhere to, adopt, embrace is this idea of increasing energy efficiency, step codes. We have no choice but to work within those parameters now. I think we're looking to work with anybody that's sincerely invested in the design process. Again, to reiterate sort of the value versus cost proposition. We're interested in building value into a space through design. Any project, whether it's a school or a commercial space like this or a high-end custom home. You can find us online at GA Studio. On Instagram, we're Grant_architecture_studio.